Dear ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, I hope you are all healthy and wish us all to get through this difficult time as quickly as possible. Let's begin. Today, we continue our series of meetings with the founders of companies in IT technology, in sports, leaders on the market. Today, we are welcome Julien Moix, the co-founder of FieldWiz. The GNSS sensor of FieldWiz is smallest and the lightest available on the market, with highest level of integration, made in Switzerland and FIFA approved, of course. A few words about the process just now. It's going to take 30 to 40 minutes in total. If something not clear or you have any question, please write them in YouTube chat. You can also always get in touch with us afterward. Julien, please take over.
Okay, thanks Dennis. Hi everyone. Hope you're all safe by this time, and thanks again to Masterclass for giving us the opportunity, and we're also delighted to start this new partnership with you. Today we'll say a few words about the company, Advanced Sports Instruments, our product FieldWiz, where we come from, where we are right now, but also what's most important is where we want to go and what's the vision and what we prepare for the future as well as for the near future, because we have many news coming this year with many innovation that should help you on the field to be stronger as soon as we can start back playing football. So maybe to start, a few words about the company. So the company is called Advanced Sport Instruments. It's been founded in 2012 here in Switzerland, close to Lausanne in the French-speaking part, actually also in the Olympic capital, which is a great chance for us while working in sports. The company has been founded by Julien with two passions. One is electronic and the other is sports. And at the time, sports was paragliding, people doing free flights. And he came up on the market with an innovation, a connected device, a connected sensor. I have one here that helped pilots to fly longer. It had embedded sensor of high accuracy with position, but also with pressure sensor, and it helped the pilot to find the thermal wind, which helped them to fly longer. Did an amazing job, really great innovation, especially at the time, a wearable connected to a smartphone, back in 2012. It was a great success, but I would say in a really niche market. And with him, with Lionel, we know each other from sports, from something different, from ski touring, which is something typical here in the Alp region. And he was looking for new opportunities. And on my side, I've been doing many sports all of my life, but especially football that I was practicing and that I'm still practicing as well. And at that time, we are back in 2014, I looked on the markets and all I could find were solutions that were only meant, let's say, for the top well system, because they were quite expensive, complex to use, and they needed a dedicated staff to be operated. On the other side, you also had gadgets, like for those who remember, at the time, Adidas already tried with the Moix that you placed on in the shoe, that brought information at a different level that wasn't, let's say, sufficient. And as a football player, I was looking for a solution to track my performances at my level. Still amateur, but I wanted to do more. There were great solutions to track everything, from jogging to sleeping, but nothing for my sport, for myself. So that's when I joined Lionel and said, well, we could use your technology to democratize what was available on the market at the time, back in 2014. We want to make something more affordable, easier to use, but without compromise on data quality. And that's how, at Advanced Sports Instruments, we started the product FieldWiz. We started with the first generation that we sold for the first time in 2015. You can see it here. We moved from the paragliding to football. We changed a few components, and also we changed the way we managed it. At the beginning, what we had in mind, I wanted a tool for myself first, and we had in mind to target the individual players, to be some kind of the Garmin watch of the football player. We tried at the beginning with a crowdfunding campaign, Indiegogo. If you don't know, it's some kind of Kickstarter, and while targeting those individuals. And we quickly realized that it would make more sense, and we had a lot of demand for teams, mostly second-tier professional teams or semi-professional teams. That's where the demand came. But those teams said, well, we need a solution that is designed for team usage, and we are already a company, so we don't invest in crowdfunding. So come back when you have let's say, a team-dedicated solution, and that's why we started with the FieldWiz that you were on the back with the jersey, and we had the first docking station, which was quite important for team management. At the time, we were already the first to have a web-based application. Might seem normal today, but back in 2014, you didn't need to install any software, anything. Everything was really straightforward, and it allows us to lower the cost as well. Time goes by, we start to enroll the first team, professional team. We can name among the first one, Swiss first and second division teams. I think one of the first was the FC Lucerne in the first division, followed by many other teams. We can name the FC Sion, FC Zurich, and the Swiss Football Federation followed, and we opened it worldwide with a network of resellers. So now we are really proud to be present in more than 40 countries with around 10 active resellers. And the new one of them is Masterclass with Dennis, and we are really happy to start this collaboration. Something that is also important to understand is that we started to do with the idea to have something for individual. We switched to teams. We had no or little experience with teams. So what we did is really to start listen to strength and conditioning coach, to coach. And we really made the solution together to have something we could say made with strength and conditioning coach for strength and conditioning coach. That's how we evolved, and that led us to the second version, a more mature version of the FieldWiz, which is the version 2 that you can see here. And you can see the evolution from the one in terms of size. And the first one had only the GNSS, so the GPS position-based. And that one, on top of that, has also the motion sensor, the IMU on 9 axes, as well as integrated the heart rate sensor that you can see here, that you use with a special garment that will take, that is conductive and will take the heart rate directly from the garment. Everything goes to one single device and is operated with one docking station. Both versions were approved by FIFA. We're extremely proud, especially for the first version. And you can look at the website, the FIFA website, to be the first solution that has been approved, and the second one follows. And we're also looking at the World Rugby certification right now. So that's it for the, let's say, the evolution. Something that is worth mentioning as well for the company is that today, of course, with Masterclass, we're speaking about team sports, mainly football, but this is something that we can and we will apply on a multi-sport basis. Today, we can also name with the technology the Swiss national ski team and other national ski team around the world. We do it as well for motorbike races, for adventure sports. We do also for specific customer, we do on-demand development because we have the ability and agility to quickly add sensor, remove them, and program it. So that's really one of our strengths in the market. So that's the solution right now. We have around maybe almost 10,000 players that have one of our sensor, and it keeps on growing. It's also a great way for us to keep on improving. And this year we will launch completely new version, which will be a great innovation on the market. And it's also worth thinking about the vision, how we see things, and what you should expect to come in the future. And then afterwards, if you have questions, I will be happy to go deeper in the actual solution, how easy it is to use, and to actionate the data you have. Now, we realize that the way clubs are evolving is changing a lot, that they are placing a lot more importance, not only on the player, but everything that surrounds the players, to make the investment on the player performing and maximizing its performance. So we see that there is an ecosystem of solution that is coming, and not only a standalone solution, but really covering all the aspects of the lifetime of a player to allow him to improve at every stage, because it's become definitely important. We can make video. We saw the guys at Player Maker for the tactical aspects. We can see the scouting. We can see the athlete management system around it, looking at psychology, medical aspects, nutrition, and so on. And what we want is really to be one active part of that ecosystem. We don't want to cover it, because we know we cannot do it. So what we want to do is to be as open as possible to that ecosystem, and to plug and interact with all the actual solution on the market to optimize the value of the customer, and also to offer him only one point of entry, because the user doesn't want to log into so many systems. So that's why in that value chain, we want to really to concentrate on the sensor, and to plug to existing solution to bring more value to the user, to cross the data as well between tactical, between video, between performance, and so on. So that's really what drives us to be one active part of that ecosystem, and to be as open as possible with a new API that we will release to many new partners that we are enrolling right now. Let's speak about the sensor. It will be also something really new. We are developing it with the team of engineers here, with something really important in mind, which is the user experience. And we are quite confident that we'll arrive with something that will be connected in real time, that will enhance the user experience, make the life of all the strength and conditioning, all the coach much more easier. What we have in mind is to allow them to spend as much time as possible with the athletes, with the player on the pitch, and not with their computer on the logistic of data. This will be a huge step. We're almost ready, and we can't wait to announce it more officially. We start to enroll new partners, new clubs, as well as to connect that ecosystem together. It's something in that concept, something that is also really important that we're working on, and I think it will have a huge impact in the future. This is data privacy. And what we've seen so far, I know it might be counterproductive, or you think as a coach might be a bit tricky, but in terms of data privacy and to have the consent of the athletes will become more and more important. And we have to allow the athletes to take control over their data and to be compliant with the EU regulation as much as we can. And this is something that drives us and that brings us a lot of energy because we need to be ready for the future. And I believe we will have a step ahead in that sense. When we speak about data privacy, of course, it's also a way for some data not only to be bound with performances, but we want to give the opportunity to the clubs, maybe to the athletes, to monetize those data a bit more easier. And instead of being, let's say, a cost for the club, it could become a profit in some cases. And with the new technology, we will be a step ahead of it. And that's what we want to prepare. I can give you, and what we are developing, I can give you just a keyword, and those of you who know it will directly understand, but it will be driven toward 5G connectivity. And the goal is really to, for fan engagement, but for strength and conditioning, as well as for performance, is to make it as easy as possible to have real time, but to remove antennas, to remove the logistic of data so that you can concentrate on the essential, which is to manage your athletes and have data that are actionable. So that's really something that drives us. And as I mentioned, it's in the timing. Maybe with Dennis, we'll check if we can do a new webinar when everything will be ready. But we expect to have some great news to communicate. One last point as well is to manage those data, let's say centrally, and have a solution that will answer the need of monitoring athletes remotely. Of course, we have to speak about the current situation. We really hope this is unique and it won't happen in the future, but there are many other use cases where you want to manage real-time data of players, of athletes that are training remotely. It could be during the vacation, during holidays, during rehabilitation somewhere else. It's a way to manage it and to to avoid to ask too much to the players so that the data are directly centralized. Regardless where you are in the world, if you are on holidays in Ibiza or anywhere else. So that's something that is really important. So we know data will be more and more important. It should be always easier to collect those data, not only during practice, but maybe on a broader aspect. And for us as a company, it's also important to see it as a multi-sport basis, not only team sports, not only football, but that can be used together with the right partners for any sports, and also if you train outside of the pitch. So that's it, let's say in a nutshell, to recap where we come from. So we, let's say, engineering-driven company based in Switzerland with the passion of sports, evolving from paragliding to skiing, football, and now willing to be present in multi-sport with something in mind, which is the user experience, and with some great news to come this year. So that's it in a nutshell. No, I don't know, Dennis, if you want to add anything, and as I mentioned, I'm open to any other question. If you have also a technical question, I will be happy to speak about it online or offline through the contact of Dennis. Thank you.
Thank you for your attention, dear colleagues. Thank you, Julien, for your fantastic story. Any question to Julien, maybe? No questions, yeah, up to now. So it's good. It's good. So maybe I have a question, Julien. Why the name FieldWiz? What it means? What is behind this name?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it's, of course, the field is for the field, the pitch, and Wiz is really the wizard. So the idea behind was to be the wizard of the pitch, of the field, and it has something maybe mystical or magical that we wanted to add to really optimize the game of everyone. And at the time, it wasn't that common to have a GNSS GPS system, so we saw it as well as some kind of secret sauce or magic sauce. So that's the link with the name FieldWiz.
Okay. So once more, thank you very much. We will process all your questions, or you have left, or you will send us directly. We will answer you, send it to Julien directly. And yes, stay healthy and see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.